because I always preface things with, don't make my mistake. And that makes them pause and take note, because then people know that if they do not implement what I am saying next, they brought it on themselves.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer. And in this episode, we have part 2 of my conversation with Florida Virtual Bookkeeper owner and Pure Bookkeeping licensee, Jessica Fox. She'll discuss the lessons she's learned from her bookkeeping business journey, and you don't want to miss this valuable insight. So let's go to that chat right now. You built a business where you have systems in place, you have a team that can support you, and you get up to other stuff. What are some of the other things that you do inside of the community?
Yeah, so once my business grew and I reached capacity, I was faced with a choice. I could continue taking on more than I can handle and stress myself out, which I immediately disqualified that as one of the options. And then I had to either stop growth or continue hiring to be able to adapt to that demand and expand capacity. And I toyed with hiring for a while, and it was very enlightening. But the biggest takeaway that I got was I did not start my business to build a bookkeeping empire. And it's okay to say no. Because before, I felt like anybody that came to me, I needed to take them on. So last year in December, I was faced at that crossroads again. So I go through cycles and I make a decision and I am happy with it. And then I am faced with that same decision again. So last December is when I decided, given the current environment, natural turnover and having to hire and stuff, that part does not bring me joy. I am just going to keep my team as is and keep my capacity capped. So right before what is historically my busy season, I closed 2 new clients. And I thought I was just going to have a waiting list for a couple of months. I set it up December 15. I figured by March, I'll be able to take on new clients. Here we are in June. And I still have a waiting list. And there's a 2 to 3 month wait on average for people signing up for the waiting list. And anytime somebody signs up, I'm like, oh, should I hire? But I go back to, no, that's not why I started this business. So it's very important for any listener, when you're faced with decisions, don't necessarily jump at what will be the next logical step of growth. Always come back to why did you start your business and why you want to get out of it. I could take on more clients now, but last year I decided that I wanted to reserve a portion of my time to helping the community grow. Because when I started, I had no mentors, I had no support, I was clueless, just bouncing around in the currents of business ownership. So I have founded my own community, free community for bookkeepers or accountants, where I provide a safe place to bounce ideas, share information. Is where, as I create content through different places, it's now centralized in one place. So when people ask me, Jessica, you had this really cool video that you did years ago. Where can I find it? I no longer have to go on this search for it. I can just say, go to the community. It's there. And that has been incredibly rewarding. I also do mentoring for bookkeepers that want some more one-on-one support. That's something that's also brings me lots of joy to help them and cheer them along, provide accountability, and celebrate their wins as they go. And I am also a trainer and a coach for Mark Wickersham's Value Pricing Academy, which is something that I never would have thought possible. I started as just any other bookkeeper that came across Mark Wickersham and his teachings on value pricing, and I thought, okay, that's cool. And fast forward a few years, because I took action and I got the results, he reached out to me and said, can you teach the community? So now I do monthly sessions for his students, and seeing the questions that the audience put, those are the things that I used to go through. And some of the feedback that people gave me is that they always like how my sessions tend to be a summary of what not to do, because I always preface things with, don't make my mistake. And that makes them pause and take note, because then people know that if they do not implement what I am saying next, they brought it on themselves. So I am having a blast, not just doing bookkeeping work, which I still do, but also helping support those that are new in the community, or those that might have been around for a long time but may not have yet ironed out their processes, get to that next stage.
We'll get back to the interview right after this word from our sponsor. Tired of the overwhelm in your bookkeeping business? Or perhaps you're dreaming of a shift from compliance detail to high-value advising. It's time for a change. Welcome to the Accelerator Method Masterclass Series, designed exclusively for bookkeepers like you who are ready to make a powerful impact. In this free 8-day intensive, Lisa Campbell will guide you step by step out of the overwhelm, repositioning you as an advisor, helping you achieve the life-work balance you crave, and getting you those high-end clients. Imagine a business life where you meet deadlines automatically, command the fees you deserve, and can take that well-earned vacation without the worry. Sounds perfect, right? It's all possible with the Accelerator Method Masterclass. But don't just take their word for it. They have over 1,100 five-star reviews. Secure your seat today. Don't miss this transformative learning opportunity guided by Lisa Campbell, a certified professional bookkeeper turned profit strategist. Save your free seat now, because you deserve to get out of overwhelm and build a business that will fuel your dreams. Go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com/A2A. And of course, the link is in our show notes. Thank you for hearing from our sponsor. Now let's get back to the interview. So interesting, and congratulations on building a life that you love and a business that you love, and to be able to do the things that bring you joy. And some great things. We'll have links to your community where people can go and learn more about you, of course. And I'd love to hear some of those mistakes. Like this was a thought that I had this morning before we got onto this call, and as I mentioned before, was it's always so interesting as we go through life. We have, and you've mentioned actually a couple today, but the idea that we have an answer. It's like, oh, I learned that lesson. Here's my lesson. I've learned it. I'm going to do it. And then as we get older, as we go through life and we do different things in business, like, oh no, that actually wasn't the answer. The answer is this. Like, it's an evolution of, and I guess they call that wisdom, right? As we go through life and get these different ideas and go, I'd love to hear some of the things that you feel that of late you've looked differently. And you mentioned one already, which was the way you look at growth, right? It's like, am I building the Walmart of bookkeeping businesses and, want billions of customers? No, you don't want that. You want to build a healthy, successful, small business that provides you with an income and gives you freedom. And, to build something other than that, it's a different game. And you made that sort of a little bit of wisdom on your part. Took you a while to sort of get there, but you've resolved to keep it that way. What have been some other thoughts around the way you see your business or life in general around your business?
Yes, oh, so many lessons along the way, but two key ones that had the biggest impact on my business, and I believe it'll have the biggest impact on any listener that this resonates with, is number one. Yes, bookkeeping is mostly the same in the mechanics of, yes, we all do cost allocations and bank reconciliations, but there's more to that. You need to stand out. So when you are trying to present yourself out to the world, don't copy what others are doing because you're just going to blend into the background and nobody's going to see you because you'll just be another bookkeeper. And then the second one is don't undervalue yourself. I made this mistake of I was desperate for clients, so I took this Walmart approach of I am just going to cost cut. And oh my God, when I think back at some of the ads that I said, like, I'll do your bookkeeping for as low as $25 per month. Nobody can live on that.
No.
I didn't get any clients on that either because the customers knew that there's not be any good quality in such a low price. But when I think to now, where I don't get out of bed for less than $200, I've come a long way in that mindset. But yes, do not compete in price. And this is where Mark Wickersham's teachings were so instrumental, because even if you don't do value pricing, just understanding the basics of price psychology, what you're bringing to the table, and being able to confidently convey that you are not selling bank reconciliations and financial reports. You are selling solutions. So we're focusing on the benefits, not the features. And in order to be able to accurately convey that to the customer, we need to understand why did they reach out? Because the answer will be slightly different from client to client. Some may have reached out because the IRS is knocking at their door and they need to meet some compliance obligation. But others may
that's
have...
That's a valuable solution.
Yeah,
get them off your back.
With that one, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
premium.
Yes, and then the easy way to convey our value is what would be the cost of them not being compliant. So suddenly your fee is minuscule when you compare it against the penalties and interest that the taxing authorities would levy if they don't get this done right. But others may not be at that stage. Maybe they missed their kids' soccer game because they were trying to do the books themselves. And then the kid won and said, "Daddy, I wish you had been there," and that broke their heart. That's valuable, and that's not something that you assign a dollar number to, but that still makes it very, very valuable to your customer. Or others may come because they wanted a loan and the bank said no, because their financials were a mess, and it's not that they were not deserving of the loan, it's that they did not know how to have an accurate balance sheet that will tell the bank there is no risk or just low risk in this. So I encourage everybody to always take a few seconds to find out why they reached out to you. Because there's some people that they know they need a bookkeeper and they'll procrastinate for years until there's pain. And that pain, once you convert that into a benefit, removing that pain, alleviating it, helping them sleep, helping them be present for their family, getting the tax authorities off their back, will make your fee such a no-brainer that you're no longer selling. You're just saying, these are the next steps, this is how much it's gonna cost, and they're gonna, okay, how do I pay you? Where do I sign? What do we do next?
I love it. And you know, it's a challenge as well with some of these things, is that you're not up at bat enough either in a business like that. It's not like every day you're on a sales call. It's rare. So you have to, and I think that's where the community like Peer Bookkeeping and Mark Wickersham's community, when you focused on something, you're listening to other people that are up at bat. So if you're up at bat once a week, once a month, whatever that is, depending on the size of your business, but you're also listening to other people that are having these challenges and getting it. And there's no way to get good at something than to do it. you have to do it. You have to have the conversations. You have to practice your script. You have to test things and learn them and go through that. And so in your journey, as you've continued to focus on that, you've gotten better at it, because when you are up at bat, you're adding new things. You're doing maybe saying something or thinking about something the way that you've heard it from one of the communities or one of the ways that you've been practicing it. But the payoff, especially around pricing, is such a big payoff, because it's not something that just you get a one-time win on. It's lifetime for that client. If you bring a client on where they value it, they pay more for it because they value it more, and you retain them as a customer. That's a every single time you're billing them. That's a payback. It's like recurring annuity, if you will, of results. So it's one of those areas. Systems critical. If you don't have systems in your business and you are not able to deliver a good product on a timely manner in an efficient way, that's a broken business. Pricing. If you don't have your pricing right, it's broken. You might survive, but you're not going to make the money that you need in order to continue to invest in your business and pay yourself and pay staff and those sorts of things. So those two things right there, so critical. And so I encourage our listener, get into communities where this is being discussed. Think of it differently. Apply yourself to it. It's take the courageous step, because I would say that's a big one that people, it's scary to try to charge more or to think differently about things that you're doing. But if you challenge that yourself, be courageous around it and get yourself into it, you will see the rewards. I mean, your business has gone up 3 times, but you haven't probably not working 3 times harder. You're probably working less.
Less hours than when I first joined.
Yes. So you're working less and you're 3 times bigger. Isn't that crazy? And you think people would be running to go and make these changes in their business, but it's fear. Fear is so powerful. Fear is so powerful to hold you back from doing the things. Because guess what? Have you failed, Jessica?
Many times.
It's many times, right? So you're going to fail. You're going to skin your knees. It's going to hurt. Going to be painful. There might be some tears. But if you don't do it, there's going to be nothing that's going to change or improve.
Exactly. And that is exactly what had been my journey, because fear is paralyzing. And I used to read the blogs and watch the videos and listen to the webinars. And I would say, that sounds nice, but that's too scary. And years ago, when I used to get a prospect, the average bookkeeper will be like, yay, a prospect. For me, I would be like, oh no, a prospect. Because I have anxiety disorder, it will trigger a panic attack, because that fear is so powerful. And then I realized it's just me and my brain running with this what if scenario. There's nothing to freak about unless something actually happens. And since it's not working now, why not put a change at a time? I know sometimes we may be bombarded with all of these things that we should do. Pick one. At that point, I just decided to go for a walk, go into nature, and try to clear my thoughts and focus. Like, what will be the one thing that will have the biggest impact in my business right now? And the answer has been different at different stages. But at that time, my answer was I needed to systematize my lead management and rework the process so that it's not a sales call, it's a how can I help you call. And so pricing is just something that we get to at the end, when they already know, they are convinced that I am the solution for them. So for me, it meant transitioning away from hourly rates, because that way when people say, how much do you charge? I said, it varies. It depends. Let's talk about it. Rather than just giving an arbitrary number where they feel like they're just buying my time. Because let's face it, people don't value time. They don't care how long it takes you. They are buying your knowledge, your expertise, and the years of experience that taught you how to do something efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just marketing as hourly, you're just leaving so much money on the table, and it's going to make it so much harder also, not just to sign them on, but when you're billing them to get paid, because then you're opening themselves up for questioning, why did this take so long?
So true, and such a, I've had a couple of vendors recently around the house, not related to business, but just interesting on the different ways that people priced, and just thinking of it now. I mean, I was thinking of it then, just interesting how my mind was changing, but as you were talking about this, it brought that back. And that, well, there's some key points is don't have pricing shame. Number one, we're having this conference. Don't have pricing shame. You said it. If you don't want to do value pricing or you're not ready for that, just having an understanding of the mechanics of it, you'll be better off, right? In charging hourly, because that's the first step is value yourself, value your own time. And therefore that will lead to you charging people more. It might be an increased rate or something along those lines. Now, we've seen it over the decade of business, people predominantly hourly. Predominantly now, I would say the conversation is value pricing. And there's still lots of people doing hourly, but they're more powerful with it. They're willing to say bigger numbers for people. And I think that the fact is that they have more confidence in themselves. But then just with the fact, like, if you think of when someone comes to you and says, I want to solve this problem, the minute you say hourly, they're no longer focused on the problem. They're focused on the amount that you're charging and their perception of, is that a big number or a small number? And it's like, wow, well, how long is it going to take you to do that? Example was, for me recently, was I had a bird in there was a bird, it went up in one of the vents. It's way too high for me to climb up on a ladder. I don't own a ladder I have a policy. If my ladder can't take me there, I'm not going there, right? I'm not going to buy a ladder that takes me into like instant death zone. So there's way up there. So it's been a problem for 2 seasons because I needed to solve this problem, but I didn't have a big enough ladder. And finally I found a person that could fix it, right? So I asked the person, well, how much, I got this problem up on the top thing there. I need you to get up there and fix that. He's like, $600. Okay. The problem, I don't want to die. So for $600, I don't die. Perfect. Come on over and fix that up. It took him about 15 minutes to solve the problem. And you know what? I was like, fine with that, because the value to me was so great. It was worth more than $600. And as well, he explained in the 15 minutes, like there were, bird mites in there and all these other things that could cause health issues for our family, all these things. I should have fixed it a long time ago, but it's now fixed. Had he said that he was going to charge me, what does that work out to, an hourly rate? It's like $1,200 or whatever an hour. Think I would have hired him? No way, right? So he was very good at the package and the way that he priced it and solving a problem, right? And I've noticed when people come to do something, they're saying, well, it's going to be this much, but how long will it take you? Because that's my question, is like, I need to know, I want certainty. All humans crave certainty. So I want to have certainty. I had certainty, $600. I'm willing to pay that. I have certainty. There's not going to be more than that. It's what it was. The other piece is, with hourly, if I don't know the amount of hours, I have no certainty. It's like I'm writing a blank check. So there's these real big problems charging hourly, but you've got to start somewhere. And the more even this conversation will help educate you and yourself, listener, on the way you believe it is, and challenge your thoughts maybe and learn more about it. And then there's great resources like Jessica has lots of great resources in her community. There's Mark Wickersham, there's Peer Bookkeeping. These are communities where this is a big conversation. And if you can solve this better for your business, the rewards are huge.
Absolutely. And it's so true. People want that certainty. They don't care how long it takes you. So even if you're not doing value pricing properly, just transitioning to a fixed rate. It was such a big leap for my business. And I used to be, once again, fear, paralyzing. I procrastinated because I was scared. So I used to give new clients a fixed fee, but I kept my existing clients in hourly. And my fear was, if I switch them to hourly, then they may leave. But Mark is the one that told me in one of his sessions, if you increase your prices by 20% and some of your clients leave, you're still making more money or the same money, working less. You have more time for new, better clients. And it was so true, which is why now I do on average 18 hours of bookkeeping work per week. The rest of my time, I am helping others, doing coaching, mentoring, teaching webinars. My admin time is probably like 10%. I don't work more than 30 hours per week, ever, even during the busiest of the tax weeks. And
Remarkable.
I have over 6-figure revenue. I am able, I love going on cruises. That's the thing that brings me joy. Oh, there's a good cruise to Alaska, book. And now I get to plan going to Alaska and not have to bring work with me because I am so systematized that the business is not going to be on fire when I return. So it can be done. And oftentimes the biggest step is that fear. And I know it's scary. I've been there, but just take it one small step at a time. I always tell people, there's that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
I love it. And there's lots of elephant out there to go and eat, and just one bite at a time. I absolutely love that. Jessica, it's always, I love this. It's always such a pleasure speaking with you. It's been a pleasure working with you and seeing your business grow and seeing you be such a role model in our community and the Successful Bookkeeper community. This has been another enjoyable conversation, and I want to thank you on behalf of our listener for your generosity, always your generosity in coming and sharing your wisdom and being so transparent as to what's working, what's not working. It's always refreshing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor to share my story.
The pleasure is all ours. What a wonderful conversation with Jessica. I absolutely love having her on the show. Such a valued member of our community, and we want to thank her again. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.